Oh, class is definitely back in session on a Wednesday. Took a couple weeks off. Ain't none of your business. Mind your business. But we back. We'll watch more
And
hoops
that's all
win.
that matter.
You know what I mean, man? Yeah, we always gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, shit, man. Who else is gonna give it to you but us, man? Come on with it. These folk, man,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I feel, no cap. Oh, yeah, hashtag no cap. Oh, goddamn, we really got to get back into implementing that. Oh, shit. Look, man, hey, we back in full effect, man. I am Bread versus Yoga. I am here with St. Louis' finest TMZ Train, a.k.a. Train Stocks, a.k.a. my big homie Train.
What's the word? We back at it again. Watch more hoops. We got a treat for you today.
Yeah, man, the Watch More Hoops brand is strengthening. You know what I'm saying? The Watch More Hoops brand is doing diamond jailhouse push-ups right now. So, you know what I'm saying? Watch your ass. But, so, you passed this along to me as a topic, and I definitely found it particularly interesting. Darius Miles' article for the Players Tribune. Once again, every time the Players Tribune comes up, I gotta shout out LeBron, man, and I gotta emphasize him as a reason that motherfuckers should watch more hoops because he consistently, you know, I mean, it's a platform, so the consistency comes with the platform, but he consistently is giving people voices to speak on they problems, they struggle, they experiences, and some experiences that like we probably wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for that. Because I think about like if a Players Tribune was around when Penny Hardaway was either in his prime or exiting the league, and he got a chance to, you know, actually wax poetic about his experiences. It's so many stories of so many greats that we don't know about, but now we get access to those stories via avenues like the Players Tribune, and the latest one that caught my eye was the Darius Miles thing, thanks to you.
Hey, no problem, man. The moment I saw it, it caught my eye for the simple fact it hit close to home, literally. Darius Miles, he a legend in the St. Louis area because he's from East St. Louis,
Let me
which is a
stop you there and
stone's throw.
ask you about that then, because I was
All
really,
right.
I couldn't wait to ask you about that actually. I never knew all of this time. Like all the time niggas was playing basketball as kids, because I think when Darius Miles was in his prime of his thing, I think I might have been like 13 years old. So we running around gym class, you know, tapping our fist on our head and shit. And like I never knew he was from St. Louis and everything. So you being from St. Louis, I really am curious, like, what was it like when Darius Miles was A, coming up in St. Louis, B, coming out of St. Louis, and C, a star, you know, that had, you know, left St. Louis and gone on to become a star?
It was panda fucking monium.
Really?
Like you said, I was just about the same age as you, young, just starting high school. So we really, you know, up on sports and everything like that. And Darius Miles, he was a legend in the area since he was 14, 15 years old. I'm talking, he kind of referenced it in the article, but it was the hottest ticket in town. Like it was a pro sports game. You had people willing to pay $100 just to see him hoop. You had all the kids there that just love athletes. You had all the dope boys, the who's who. It was the place to be because he was putting on the show. I'm talking just jumping out the gym, putting up 30, 40 points, half of them from crazy ass dunks that you don't see high school players make. And he was just so damn long, like his wingspan well over 7 feet. So it's like not only was he dunking, he was blocking shit, throwing it damn near to the roof. Like it was just a show, man. It was crazy. And everybody, you know, wanted to be Darius Miles or watch Darius Miles hoop, and everybody wanted a piece of him because they knew he was just going to the NBA. It was inevitable.
That's ill. Did you ever get a chance to see him play at all?
I did not see him live, but I saw him on TV and, you know, heard all the stories, of course. Like I say, if a game began at 7 o'clock, people was there at Ford, willing to pay whatever, and it was first come, first served. And East St. Louis is like the hood. Like,
Yeah.
I know you from
I've
Memphis. I'm trying to
heard.
think of a neighborhood. Like Whitehaven that y'all call Black Haven, Orange Mound. That's what East St. Say,
Yeah.
fuck it. We want to see Darius Miles hoop. They was taking that chance and that risk of being in the hood to see him play. So it was one of the hottest tickets in town.
Nah, that shit is amazing. And me personally, like, I'm a motherfucker for like the things that I don't have the life context for, like the things that I wasn't there for, the things that I didn't experience with my own eyes and ears and shit. I'm always so like hella curious about like what it was like to be there in that time and place. But yeah, so he writes this article for the Players Tribune called "What the Hell Happened to Darius Miles?" And I took that as he was gonna, tell some story with a message, and it wasn't as much of a story with a message as it was like just a seemingly random collection of interesting stories from a time that like we getting entirely too close to forgetting about.
Yeah, and this article dropped at the perfect time because our last episode, what did we talk about? Mental health and all the things that a young professional athlete have to go through. And he pretty much resonated everything that I was saying, just to show I wasn't full of shit, or better yet, he just confirmed everything that I was saying. His ultimate, whatever you want to call it, demise or downfall was due to mental and physical health issues. And that's what led to him, even though he had a pretty good career in my book, or in my eyes, he did have a premature career due to his body breaking down and then his mind, and more importantly, breaking down as well due to the death of his mother.
Yeah,
and
this
I
shit
just
is
like how he
crazy.
was transparent and told the story.
This almost deserves to be like an entire 30 for 30 because I don't even think.
That's what I was going to say. I need to see it in visual form, because I don't know if you heard of it or not, but they did another story on East St. Louis a few months back, but it was regarding football, called 89 Blocks, produced by LeBron James as well, and it just chronicled like how hard
that
it is to come out,
motherfucker LeBron.
how hard it is to come out of East St. Louis, just due to the crime and the poverty. But the thing is, man, the people that do make it, they the cream of the crop. I'm talking Olympians and multi-millionaires and things like that. So that's the thing about East St. Louis, man. It'll make you or break you. If you make it out, you do very well in life. If not, then you're going to have an early demise. Matter of fact, I got a cousin who's from East St. Louis, projects, everything like that. Now he's living really nice, not too far from you, out of Franklin, Tennessee. Nice big house doing for himself.
Oh no, that nigga out in Franklin, yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good.
And he's from the Jets, so
yeah.
Shout out to my cousin Leandris.
Yeah, shout out to bruh, man. I definitely think the hood builds you up in a different way and prepares you in a way, or kind of expands your capacity for what you can withstand in life. Where a lot of people do break down. I mean, all our issues are relative, but sometimes people break down easier than others. And one of the things that he actually mentioned, Darius Miles mentioned in the article, was that his whole experience is growing up made him strong. It was the reason why for so long he didn't even entertain the idea of depression and all of that, was because like I've been through so much worse, I've lived through so much. And I believe it was him that said like he had like all of these homies died, his mom died, and he was like he ain't even cry, and shit, I mean, just from a mental standpoint, if you want to look at it from that angle, then yeah, like all of that bottling that shit up clearly had some type of effect on him in the long run. And he talks about it in the article where he had this one house, and I believe the house was in East St. Louis, that He said he was in that bitch and just wouldn't leave and said like he ain't leave for like 2 years or some shit.
Yeah, and that's how it is. Just like you said, man. When we from nothing, man, we have PSTD, but then it's one event, one sequence that'll make you crack, and when you crack, it's crazy because it's all bottled in, and that's what he did. You know, he was in a state of depression where he pretty much stayed in the house for a couple years.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that never happened to me because I keep a lot of stuff bottled up. I've been surrounded by death, you know, my entire life. My grandpa and uncle got murdered, and I pretty much witnessed it at 7 years old, man. And just from there, aunts and uncles just passing away, both my parents passing away, my grandparents, of course. So it's just like, not only that, but then the violence and the crime, countless friends and people I know. It's like people just dropping like flies, and you just bottle it in, and I become numb to a lot of it, but at the same time, it still hurt. It's just like, I'm not fully desensitized to it, but it's not devastating. It's like, man, that's messed up, and then you got to keep moving, because if not, you will just get into it, you know, a state of depression yourself. It's almost like it hurt, but you accept it.
It's so much.
I done seen both ends of the drug game. It ain't nothing you want to be involved with. I know it get glorified because that's the economy of the hood. That's the way people eat. But it ain't nothing nice, man. I didn't, like I said, seen both ends of the spectrum where you don't have no food in your house and all that because it went to dope. And I done seen it have your pantries overflowing because you're selling the dope. But at the end, it definitely ain't worth it because of all the death, destruction, and mayhem it caused. And the worst part about the hood is that it can't be built up unless it's gentrified, for the simple fact, if you make it out the hood and you come back, they'll suck you in and bring you down too with them. And the thing with Darius Miles, I don't know him personally, but I got 1 degree of separation from him. I know a lot of people that know him personally, and I know the instances with him. He tried to come back and quote unquote keep it real, feed the people, feed the streets, and they just latched on to him like leeches and was sucking them dry. And that's part of it as well, you know. People always want to say I'm good in any hood, this and that. The real no, you're going to get robbed. You're going to get got over no matter who you are.
Or at least there'll be an attempt.
No, if you in the hood good enough and you got something, because it's haves versus have-nots, you pretty much bragging. You go down there with your Escalades, your Benzes, you look like food to them because they hungry. So no amount of respect you have, 99 people on your block can respect the hell out of you. There's one person that don't give a fuck and that's going to test you. Anybody that got money or from affluence that's in the hood, you're going to get bit. And that's just the fact of the matter, because you're dealing with haves versus have-nots. Somebody going to set you up. Somebody going to rob you. They might steal something from you. You might come out, your whip gone, something like that. They might not put a gun to your head, but they're going to get you some way, somehow. And that's just the fact of the matter. So that's why it's hard. That's why it's almost impossible to make a come up and stay in the hood, because they will bleed you dry. Or even if you give a mouse a cookie, it's that scenario. And I've witnessed it firsthand myself. You give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want milk. You give them milk, they're going to want this, they're going to want that, and they bleed you dry till you have nothing yourself. And that's really what goes on with a lot of these athletes and celebrities. They go to where they from and try to show love, but they don't give you the love back. They just take. And that's what's so sad. So it's almost like you got to leave and never come back, or be meticulous with it. Like, okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like that. Pop up every now and again, or do some type of drive or something like that. you definitely give back. But if you try to just hang out on the block and act like you did beforehand, you setting yourself up for failure. That's a no. And from the stories I know, that's happened to Darius Miles several times.
Very unfortunate. I really wish in this article that it would have been structured more like an article. And I say that because it comes off like they present it as an article and they say Quentin Richard is the guest editor on that. But it looks like somebody clearly just put a recorder in front of this nigga, like the fucking voice recorder app or something, and recorded him and Q Richardson talking, bouncing stories back and forth about the early 2000s. And it really sounds like that. I mean, it really comes off in the.
And that's another thing, like no disrespect to Darius Miles with anybody from the area, and like I said, they got 1 degree of separation from them. That it couldn't be an article because the man really has like a 7th to 8th grade education, which is not his fault. Once he was that age, 7th grade, 8th grade, he was the pride of East St. Louis. He had to make it out, so he just got passed through school. So he pretty much stopped learning and being focused in his studies in middle school. High school was just going through the formalities. So to expect an editorial piece from him is not realistic.
Nah, it's
so like
not so much that I expected an editorial piece from him, because I know most athletes is half retarded anyway. Like, Derrick Rose came through Memphis and everything. We all know Derrick Rose probably can't read the name on his jersey and shit. Shout out to Derrick Rose, though. You know what I'm saying? I hope he ball out this year. But I'm just saying, I wish it was, even once they took the sound bites from him, it looks like they took everything he said and just typed it out or transcribed it. I wish it would have been a little bit more organized, because the thing about it is that it's so interesting, everything he talks about, but he jumps from here and there, there. And it's so hard to unpack because it was so many interesting things that he said and that he would just touch on for like 2 seconds and then jump into the next interesting thing.
I think he has so much to tell in such a limited space, but he basically gave us an appetizer, a sampler of all the good shit he had, and now it's going to set up for that documentary or whatnot. So I see what you're saying, but I understand. Like I said, he was just trying to put in so much in just a short article. But
no, I'm definitely not blaming him. I'm saying I wish it would have made my job a little bit easier, though, just because it's like so many different things I want to get to, and it's like he touched on it so weird. So it's like, I get how we get there. I get how, like all of the elements involved, like him having a 8th, 9th grade education, and him only getting a limited sample size to even work with to begin with. I truly do hope this is a springboard into a 30 for 30 or some documentary, because even as hodgepodge as the article was, it was some really, 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 really interesting stuff. The whole Jordan thing, where he was like, man, I grew up watching Jordan, and I'm like 20, and I'm a Jordan brand athlete, and now Michael Jordan is sending me shoes, and I got half of East St. Louis rocking J's and shit just because I'm a Jordan brand athlete now. He was like, this is fucking bugged out.
That story is absolutely true. Firsthand, I saw exactly what he said. Anybody that was connected with him in the city had all Jordan apparel.
And I find it to be so intriguing and shit, especially
They was giving it out like government cheese.
Which, to that extent, man, a lot of people say Jordan don't do shit for the hood, but hey, Jordan was signing niggas that did shit for the hood. So I don't know. Does Jordan get any credit by proxy?
Not in my eyes.
I tried to shoot MJ some bail, man. I tried to at least give everybody the benefit of the doubt in some way. But even the story he told about how he did become a Jordan Brand athlete, he said he was like him and Quentin Richardson was in the back rocking and ones and shit, and they was like taking them
Yeah.
shits off
And that
like,
probably
damn.
just pissed Jordan off.
And that nigga was like, bro, what the fuck is that on your feet? And Jordan was the first nigga to hit a nigga with the what are those?
Sir, I got one question for you. What are those?
And then
even though every outfit he wears.
yeah, his outfits be trash from the ankle up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Him
Like,
and Eminem, man, if they got stylists, they got the worst stylists in the world.
they was the first. They was on they no stylish shit before French Montana, but nah, man. Jordan Bow should have had Tinker Hatfield design his damn outfits as well. He should have stopped at the feet, nigga. You should have had Tinker Hatfield design that nigga some jeans or something.
Keep
The
it moving.
nigga snapped his fingers and just changed a young nigga from East St. Louis life. Just at the snap of a finger.
Hey, that's power. That's what we got to aspire to be.
I find that shit to be so very intriguing. But even then, you know, when he was talking about, you know, the East St. Louis shit, like I said, it was early 2000s when all this shit happened. I was still like very, very young and kind of like I understood basketball, but I didn't understand life in the world yet. So I ain't understand abstract concepts like backstories. All players were just characters who just, you know what I'm saying, you was either sorry or you was good. But I had no idea that, he came from all that shit. He told the story in the article about some dude randomly just walking up to him while he hooping, put a gun in his head, and was like, you stole something out of my car, da 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 da. And then he told his folks and everybody rolled up with them choppers and shit, nigga. Like, to me,
man.
he was just a character. He was just a basketball player. I had no idea these players was, like, coming up out of some of the realest shit ever, surviving that shit. And, like he said, after surviving that shit, at the end of it all, you 19 with $1 million contract from the NBA. He like, man, we was teenagers. They turned us loose with millions in L.A.
These kids today got it made, man. When they hooping and doing all this, all they got is like, for real, AAU coaches and, crazy parents and shit. Back in my day, football and basketball, we could just be running open court, like outside or whatever. If the best in the city playing, the dope boys there, and they betting money on you. If they betting money on you, you better fucking win. So imagine having a hoop or play football, not only for pride and amongst your peers, trying to get scholarships, looks, things like that. You got people that's betting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on you. And if you lose, you done lost their money. So they getting at you after the game.
I love
this
that.
Anywhere from organized high school sports to pickup games.
Nah, I love that perspective. Like, that's like when you juxtapose that against the AAU era that we in now, I think that's something that people really got to spend more time exploring, because like the same way I said that these people be like characters to us and shit, ultimately, like this shit is really shit that goes on hood to hood, state to state, everywhere, and it's real, man. It's like little kids with $100,000 pressures on their head and shit, man. Like,
who wanna take the last shot at the game, knowing if you miss it, you cost somebody a couple $1,000s.
I'm telling you, bro, like this is the shit people
But then
take
when you
for
get
granted.
to the NBA, but then when you make it to college or pro, that's how you get that killer mentality, because that pressure's off of you. Yeah, you're going to get scrutinized by the media. It's a difference between having Skip Bayless talk shit on you and having the neighborhood hustler come to you like, you just lost me 5 racks.
I'm glad you said that, though. See, because that's the problem I have. Like, I have to walk that fine line, technically being involved in sports media, where somebody like Skip Bayless will say some shit like, he's garbage. He's garbage. Get him out of here. And like make up funny fucking names about him and shit, man, with a complete disregard for how much non-basketball shit niggas had to go through to get to the point to even be on a Skip Bayless radar.
Exactly. We all like to call, pro players, he trash, this and that. Man, if you're in the NBA, you're in like the 1% of the 1% best basketball players in the world. You could take the quote-unquote worst player in the NBA and put him in any gym in the country, and he'll do whatever he wants 99% of the time.
But when you say he's sorry, I think we as a nation, bro, we as a media, we as a nation, we as a society, we as a culture, gotta ease up on the trash shit. Like, it's funny to just talk shit and kick jokes and shit like that, but we gotta ease up on the whole trash bash culture when it involves disregarding how much we know young hood niggas gotta go through to get where they going. Like, if it comes
and just in general, man, these players are human. We look at them as entertainers. They human. They go through crazy shit, man. They gal might have a miscarriage and they got a game 2 hours later and they got to play. We thinking, oh man, they shit the bed tonight. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. They playing because they contractually obligated to, but we don't know what's going on in their personal lives. They could be battling mental issues, physical problems at home, injuries they playing through. We don't know, but we quick to judge them because they have a bad game or do something bad, hurt our fantasy team, or didn't make it as enjoyable to watch as we wanted it to. Not realizing they humans with the same problems. We have bad days at work too. Imagine we was criticized nationally because we didn't answer enough emails like we were supposed to, or we, did something wrong at work and it got blown up because millions of people are watching. Imagine that.
Man, I mean, that's a box of worms. A can of worms. I ain't even gonna open.
But to get back to Darius Miles' story, first of all, just him making it out of East St. Louis was miraculous. Second of all, to get handed that much money, go to Los Angeles and last as long as he did in the league with his upbringing, that's another fucking miracle. And then to be in that state of depression, lose it all, and go right back to where you came from and still walk out of there alive and not incarcerated, that's another miracle. So he's a walking miracle, walking testimony. I know he went bankrupt or whatnot, but he's still a success story to me because he inspired so many other people, and he got a great story to tell, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to monetize and capitalize off of his story.
I 100% agree with all that shit. I definitely think he's a success story. I think that he not only impacted culture, like impacted basketball culture, which thusly kind of impacts street culture. Not only did he make it out, a rough ass situation, not only did he find himself back in that situation and still made it out, but he now is capitalizing on all of the new ways you can take advantage of your own story and your own narrative. So I definitely think,
man.
And I love it when
18, 19. My bad.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I love it when success stories far exceed stat lines and what you did in the league. Somebody like Jalen Rose, who is what can be considered a marginal career in the NBA, but then he leaves and has an entire media career where he's killing it all across different shows, and then he opens up his own school in Detroit that's tuition free and all of that. Like the fuck whatever he did as a player. Like if him being a player got him to the point where he can do all of these other things, then shit, that's a Hall of Fame career to me. And you might as well say
Jalen Rose. Shout out to Jalen Rose. Shout out to Jalen Rose. That man is an icon. Fresh out of the gutter of Detroit, And like you said, everything he did in his career, very long career. And not only that, he just wasn't quiet and lived his life. He dropped gems all the time on people, telling people the ins and outs and, you know, trying to better people's ways, like you say, not only with the school, but just the information that he do share about, you know, his struggles, his life, and, you know, keeping it real and stuff like that. That man don't get enough credit that he deserves. He's a legend in my eyes, on and off the court.
And I think people like Darius Miles is the reason Jalen Rose is going to get more credit and vice versa. I think that it's going to be a new wave of respect for players that did shit outside of their career that was way greater than anything they could have did in their career. And I think Darius Miles is on the verge of that too. I think, you know, depending on what's coming next, like I said, I hope this is foreshadowing what's next to come from him. I really hope that that entire era that he was a part of really gets relived and replayed out in front of these kids that hoop now, even especially the spoiled kids and shit, the spoiled little hooper generation, the little weirdo hooper generation we get now. I hope they really get to connect with that piece of history in our culture and shit, because when them people did it, when people like Darius Miles did it, bro, they did it for us. Regardless if the streets never loved him back. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe he did it for us.
Respect.
And a lot of new players are largely about themselves and their own brands. Darius Miles was a brand on accident.
Exactly. It came naturally.
Yeah.
Before social media and hashtagging and all that, it was just natural. Just watch more hoops, right?
Yes, Lord.
Raw and uncensored, right?
Oh, 100%. Unequivocally.
Well, that's when I'm about to keep it. 18, 19-year-old me, millionaire in LA. I would have been doing and selling all the coke.
Hey, coke talk.
All of it. All the weed.
I
failing every drug test.
Yeah, nigga might have goddamn retired from basketball in year 2 to go be Pablo Escobar.
Making sales out the form. You hear me? Making sales out the form.
Yeah, right under
Who need a kilo?
Sterling's nose.
Being from where we from to going there, you like, I'm finna flip this shit.
But what's crazy too is what he mentioned is what kind of kept them out of a lot of trouble was the fact that they were so young in a city that's run by so many grown things and shit. You know what I'm saying? And funny segue into the whole double tap the fist on the head thing, and nobody ever knew where it came from, and he finally says it in this Players Tribune article that
Trevor fucking Ariza, who's still in the league doing his thing,
which is amazing,
still doing his thing with the Phoenix Suns. Shout out to Trevor Ariza.
Like when we get a Player Tribune article from Darius Miles talking about he was going to see Trevor Ariza play in high school, who's in the league right now, who was a significant player in the playoffs just last season. That's nuts to me, and I don't think the NFL really capitalizes on those issues like that. I don't think people care about the issues like it is as it is
don't.
for some reason.
NBA has the best marketing in all of sports. I was watching the Gary Vee podcast, and he was talking about how, marketable the NBA is compared to especially Major League Baseball. And he tied into how Major League Baseball dying because it's shitty marketing. They don't market their players, and they even have a stands where you really can't market yourself as an individual for real. I think the teams and the league, they own all the marketing rights and shit like that, and they got some shitty ass marketing firm doing it for them where they just put out the little generic boring post on social media that the youth and people like us really don't engage or fuck with. When the NBA, like you say, each player their own brand, they able to tell their stories and media and everything like that. And if you notice with baseball, which I am a big baseball fan just because I grew up off of it, but they do a whack ass job of promoting their best players. The average player, the average person, if you're not a big baseball fan, you might be able to name a handful of players. Besides that, is no big deal. You could walk past a major league superstar and not even know who the hell they are, and that's horrible. So, shout out to the NBA, and that's why we do this show, Watch More Hoops.
Man, shout out to the brilliance and the progressivism of Adam Silver as well, because as booming as the NBA always kind of been, the Adam Silver era is really when this nigga put the turbo boosters on and made the other big sports, made the other major sports eat his dust. And I think it strictly can be attributed to just how progressive he was willing to be, how much these other sports value tradition. And don't get me wrong, I value tradition as well, but Adam Silver, I believe, never let tradition inhibit the growth of the sport. He always put the growth first and did a good job at marketing the novelty of the tradition while
You know what it is, though?
Constantly moving the needle.
Basketball in the NBA is just is the most hip sport. Let's just be real about it. The players influence the culture, and the culture influence the players, and they just go back and forth, back and forth. The rappers wish they was in the NBA. The NBA players wish that they was rappers. Shout out to Master P. He was able to do both at a very high level.
And he deserves to be in the Naismith Hall of Fame for that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when your contributions exceed when your off-court contributions to the game exceed your on-court contributions, I feel like that should be an automatic nomination into the Hall of Fame.
And how do you know you arrived as a celebrity? Courtside at a fucking NBA game.
Yeah.
And it's people of all walks of life. You might get anywhere from the hottest new rapper today to Jack Nicklaus, one of the best actors of all time.
Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicklaus is
he golfer, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Nicklaus.
But you might see Jack Nicklaus sitting next to Jack Nicholson, goddammit.
The original Joker.
Yeah, man. They just call that nigga Jack now. But I still think it's on Adam Silver though, to like when David Stern was trying to oppress the hipness of the league and how much, that culture was becoming the culture. David Stern was trying to suppress that. Adam Silver said, let it flow, niggas. Like, let that nigga drift flow. Let it ooze. Yep. Let it overflow. And I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the culture influencing the game and the game influencing the culture, and somebody at the top behind the closed doors, behind the tables, that still is like okay with it, because we know that those people with the neckties and the suits behind the desk, when they want to shut some shit down, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately, they end up, shutting some shit down. And and he took the opposite approach. You know what I'm saying? He didn't try to shut it down. He let it run free, and that's why he got the most successful product in the game right now.
Agreed. Salute to Adam Silver. greatest commissioner, head of operations in all the sports.
Of all time. But yeah, so and in case motherfuckers ain't know, man, niggas was tapping their hands on their head because it was to show love to a school called Westchester High School in LA that Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles would go to because they was too young to do anything else in a big lights bright city like Los Angeles and stuff. So I thought that was like extremely interesting too for them to divulge that after all of this time. And it's like you still just I'm still having my it's like that's my childhood and I'm still getting answers from shit that I didn't know in my childhood, and that's what's so fascinating about all of this. As scatterbrained as this article was, I still think this last paragraph pulls it all home. He says, they ask about the money, but they don't ask about my mama. They ask me where I came from and all the things I've seen. I done it all. I made it and spent it. Went from the pink slip to the l'Hermitage, or however you say that shit. I rode in all them limos. I lived a life, boy. Now I live down the street from Q in Florida. Q being Quentin Richardson, of course.
Yeah.
I like it down there. For the first time in years, I can sleep at night. I don't have to carry a gun. I can finally get a little bit of peace. I'm just trying to get better day by day. Trying to be a better person day by day. Me and Q, we don't got the matching trucks no more. We're not living that lifestyle. But you know what? You can say whatever you want about us, but you can't take away a real simple fact. It don't matter who we run into, Michael Jordan, Paul Pierce, Sean Kemp, some random dude on the street. They know. They know what we did. Editor's note, which means Quentin Richardson chimed in. They know. Thank you. Thank you for your brilliance in editing, Quentin Richardson. Matter of fact, I was just checking into a hotel the other day. Bellhop is going about his business, loading some bags or some shit. Then he looks over at me. He's like, are you? Yo! He don't have to say anything else. He just looks me dead in the eyes from across the lobby and he throws it up. 2 taps to the head. He knows. So what the hell happened to Darius Miles? Man, a lot. A lot happened to Darius Miles. But it's 2018 now, and I tell you one thing. He all right. Editor's note, 2 taps to the head.
That was a good conclusion to it. And a quick side note on that, when he said he went from the pink slip, that's like a rite of passage for all men in the St. Louis area. That's a strip club on the east side, right?
Oh, shit. I thought it was a car dealership. No, I'm just fucking with you.
No.
Go ahead.
The pink slip is a rite of passage for all black males in the St. Louis area. You don't become a man until you go there. That's the bar mitzvah for black people in St. Louis.
The black bar mitzvah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Ow. And, especially since we doing this whole thing about Darius Miles, I feel the need to throw it out there that he's selling merch. Selling T-shirts. He's apparently attempted to monetize this brand. And
Two Fist?
Yeah, he got the Two Fish shirt for $35. He got another Two Fish shirt that's kind of like the NBA logo, but instead of, the player with the ball, it's a guy running down court. It's a silhouette of a guy running down court with 2 fists up. So, yeah, he also has merch. So, if you want to support Darius Miles even further, then there's that. Check out his Player Tribune article along with Quentin Richardson on theplayerstribune.com. And appreciate Train for bringing such a great subject and something that he got, so much perspective on to the table and shit.
Always. This was a no-brainer for the Watch More Hoops episode.
As much Memphis shit as I've done, as much as I've catered to Memphis on the Hoopcast, man, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you coming in and, bringing some Midwest swing to it. It's the Midwest swing. Yeah. I ain't got a clue why my color blue. I got them things on that motherfucker too.
And now that you mentioned that, Nelly dropped the same fucking time D Miles did, so you know the city was on fire, boy.
Oh my God. Hey, I'm gonna have
2000, 2001. That's when Nelly dropped. D Miles was in the league doing that. Man, it was a good time to be from St. Louis back then.
I'm gonna have to get you on a Music Monday and recount that whole time and period.
Definitely.
And have you maybe, some other St. Louis natives who vividly remember that time, because shit, at this point, if we do that, I'm nothing but a platform, you know what I'm saying? Because I got nothing but how Nelly looked to us when I was out in Texas or when I was out in Memphis.
I'm about 50% sure I could get Murphy Lee.
No, don't say no shit like that, man. We on wax.
Hey, I said it because I meant it.
Hey, that would be ill as fuck though, nigga. That would be the right way to do it, nigga. And we would really get a lot of context on Darius Miles, Saint Lunatics, Nelly, all that shit.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start working on that then right after this.
Oh my God, well shit, I think I'm gonna leave this motherfucker off right there with a cliffhanger like that. I don't think I could get a better cliffhanger like that on this episode, man. So shit, man, I appreciate everything, man. Appreciate your presence, man. Appreciate the blessings, man. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you chopping up game with me once again. Especially after, little light diet hiatus that got accidentally taken, you know what I'm saying? We still right back in full effect, and I appreciate it, man, because...
Hey, it was a brief intermission, but we right back at it, as you said.
Man, I'm telling you, man, look, sometimes I might just let up just long enough for other motherfuckers out there to get happy. And it's like, nope, back on your ass.
Yeah.
Right when they getting happy, right when they thinking it's safe, like, good, finally, nigga, I'm so sick of... Goddamn, this nigga dropping with consistency. Like, this nigga gonna actually, goddamn, fuck around, break the game one day.
This is Watch More Hoops, and if you watch the NBA every game, you might see a player out for rest. That's what we had to do for a couple games, but we ain't hurt.
I had a couple DNPs, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, shit, consider this goddamn coming back, dropping 35 on them, man. Fuck it. But, yeah, I appreciate that shit, my dog. We gonna encourage everybody to continue to watch more hoops, man. And hey, class is dismissed.